Today we're going to make some homemade sauerkraut, a very simple recipe with some options at the end. You'll need cabbage, a knife, salt, and a mason jar. So first we're going to take our cabbage and shred it really fine as you can. And then we're going to put it in a bowl, layer at a time. And on top of each layer we'll add a little bit of salt. I'm using real salt. You can use sea salt, kosher salt, whatever kind you'd like. And then as you can see, I'm adding more layers here and a little layer of salt. And you want to taste it too as you go to make sure that it doesn't get too salty, because the saltiness won't really go away that much. So once you're done shredding and salting, we'll start squeezing it together here. So just squeeze with your hands. I like to use my hands because we're incorporating all the wild bacteria and yeast from the air, and some clean soap and hot water washed hands have a lot of nice welcoming bacteria for kraut making. To speed up the process here, you want to just keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And then to test it, you take a bunch of cabbage and then squeeze it, and if the water runs out like this, then it's ready. So after that, I'll pack it into my mason jar. I'm using a half-gallon jar for about a head of cabbage. And then I'm just going to use my knuckles and press it down into the jar. And keep pressing, and you can use your thumb too a little bit if you need to. Eventually, the natural juices from the cabbage will come up over the top of the cabbage, just like this. You want to make sure that the cabbage doesn't get exposed to air as much as possible. If it does form a mold and it's grayish, you can just wipe that off and that's safe. So after that, I'm going to take the outer cabbage leaves that I saved and put them into the jar and then let them expand. And this will kind of hold down the cabbage and keep the juices on top of it. And this cabbage leaf is a little small, so I'll probably use 2 cabbage leaves here. And you'll find crocks that have ceramic weights that hold it down. I just use a rock. I'm probably going to need to go get a couple more rocks to hold this one down. It doesn't have as much juice as a lot of other batches I've made. You can place a plate on top or whatever you have lying around that will hold it down. Like I said, I'm going to go get a couple more clean rocks. And if it doesn't hold down and you see it start to come up, it's simple. Just open it up and push it down, which I'm probably going to do about twice a day. And if you didn't see at the beginning of the picture, there is a plastic top on top of it. So you will want to make sure that it is sealed. And I use plastic so that it doesn't interfere with the bacteria like metal will. And here's a picture of some of the spices and herbs that I like to add to a batch of sauerkraut. This one is very plain. My favorite is to add some dill, oregano, and garlic. And it's fun to experiment. Try adding radishes, carrots, whatever else you have lying around that could possibly go bad and might need fermenting. The last step of the sauerkraut making process is to let it sit and ferment. Easiest step of all. I like to check mine after about 3 days and keep tasting it every day after that. I like mine crunchy, so I usually let it ferment on the countertop for 3 to 7 days and then stick it in the fridge after that and let it slow ferment there. It can last indefinitely on the countertop, but it does get soggier after a while. The rule of thumb is usually let it ferment for 3 days to 3 months on the counter and then stick it in the fridge and let it slow ferment from there. Have fun experimenting with it and enjoy. Thanks for watching.